again 0809-444-0981. So you can send your message in the course of the conversation. Then you can also call the phone line. It's 01-448-9981. Again, 01-448-9981. You can go to YouTube where we are streaming live, youtube.com/smooth 981 FM Lagos. Not only do you get to see our faces, by our, I mean my face and that of my guests, you can also drop your comment in the chat box. And then there is Twitter. So tag the handle at smooth 981 FM and we will see your message or whatever it is that you like to tell us. So did you get all of that? Are you ready? So let's go. My guest this morning, she is no stranger to the show, as I like to introduce any second or third timer here on Breakfast in Bed. She's a clinical nutritionist / registered dietitian, and she knows her onions, literally. I am talking about Udeme Isemin. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, Sheo. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. Such an honor to be on the show this morning.
How are you doing this morning? Is it raining at your end?
No.
Okay.
Is it raining in Lagos?
It's pounding here. Yeah. So we'll take what we get. Hopefully that does not interfere with the network. But yes, she's joining me via Zoom in case you're wondering why I'm talking about the network. But you can see our faces. It's clear the video is stable and we hope it stays that way. So we're talking about lactose intolerance. And I laid the background before now, talking about how something as little as milk or something that is regular, common as milk, some people cannot keep it in their tummy. And some people are even allergic to it. And while lactose intolerance might not necessarily be milk allergy, it is still very interesting. And one of the reasons I decided to talk about this is because having conversed with people who are lactose intolerant, those people seem to have what they call coconut head. They know what milk does to them, but
they will still drink it.
And it is funny. It is weird, and I think it's just that human thing. But that said, what exactly is lactose intolerance?
All right. Thank you once again for having me on the show. My name is Udeme, as I had said earlier. So lactose intolerance is as a result of either lactase insufficiency or lactose malabsorption. So what do I mean by those jargons I just said? Nutrition is basically food intake, food digestion, food absorption, and food utilization. So except, it's like saying I take in, it's like when you have to cook rice from the market, you buy raw rice. You don't just eat raw rice. You cook it either into jollof rice, either into fried rice. It has undergone some level of processing, like either you're boiling it for raw and white or jollof. So that's just what happens to every food that gets into the stomach. You don't just eat it and then automatically, bam, the body does use it. No. It will take time to break down and take out the nutrients that the body needs for it to, into its usable form in which the body can use it. So same thing happens to milk. When you take in milk through the mouth, maybe through cheese, maybe through yogurt, maybe powdered milk, maybe evaporated milk, whichever form of milk you take, when it gets into the body, milk contains a sugar called lactose. So when it goes into the body, there's a particular enzyme in the body. That's the way you have the enzymes that break down carbohydrates, that breaks down fat, just like when you eat fruits. There's a sugar in fruit called fructose. So in milk, we have a sugar called lactose. So when you take it in, when it gets into the digestive system, especially the small intestine, it is expected that the lactase, an enzyme, would break down that sugar into simpler form. So when you have lactase in your system, the enzyme will produce lactase, and then it breaks it down from lactose into glucose and galactose. So when your body is like saying insulin in diabetes too, the reason why sugar cannot be broken down is because either insulin is insufficient or it's not sensitive. Same thing happens just in milk. So it's not so much special. It's just the way the body has to break it down. So for people who have lactose intolerance, it's either they don't have enough lactase in the small intestine to break down the sugar coming from milk, or they have lactose malabsorption, which means the body cannot absorb the lactose sugar that they are consuming. So that's just it. And let me quickly clarify here.
Okay, go ahead.
People make the mistake between milk allergy and lactose intolerance. So I know most people have that issue. For milk allergy has to do with the body's reaction to immune system. And most times it happens in children between 0 to 2 years. But lactose intolerance has to do with the digestive system. Let me say it again. Milk allergy has to do with the body reacting to something in your immunity. But lactose intolerance has to do with something that has to do with your digestive system. So I think that's it.
Okay, so my invitation is still pending. Will you be my teacher, please? Because the way you my
who is teaching who?
how they taught every student in school. I think we all will be great A students. Thank you so much for that really clarifying one. All right, so now you have the background of what lactose intolerance is, and it is different from milk allergy, like my teacher here, who happens to be my guest, has said. Now, you said something about milk allergy being in children between 0 to 2. Does it mean that adults cannot be allergic to milk, or is it that it starts right from childhood?
Okay, for milk allergy, I feel like one of the things I've also noticed is that when children are born prematurely, because they are born prematurely, they tend to have allergy to a few things. So that's why it's common in children, because between the ages of 0 to 2 years, there are still body formations and maturation. Different organs are maturing. It's like why we say don't give honey to children who are less than 5 or thereabout, because their body may not be able to break down what it's the food composition. So for milk allergy, it's an immune system thing, and their immune system is still building up. So by the time you're 2 or 2 above, and you still have reactions to milk. And then one thing about the milk allergy is that it's not even internal, it's external, that the expression is external. Unlike when you have food intolerance, you can start with bloating, you can have people fatty when they are milk intolerance, you have, they'll just, the way when you eat beans, and then after a while you begin to fat. Yes, for people that have milk intolerance, you begin to fat. But for people that have milk allergy, even though it has to do with your immune system, the response is external, like rashes, like itching. You're seeing that. So that's a reaction to, it may be internal, but the expression is external. Unlike for milk intolerance. Yeah. So it's mostly for children.
We're already peeping into the symptoms and the expression or the manifestation, those are not medical words, but they are my coinage, of what lactose intolerance is. So we will take the short breather, and when we come back, we'll settle right into it. The causes, even, it's funny and weird that somebody who used to take milk all of a sudden can no longer tolerate milk. We want to know why. And I'm sure you're curious too, so you have to stay tuned. We are talking about lactose intolerance here on Soul Food on Smooth 98.1. So we have ad break, and we come back after that.
The FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 is here. Excitement is in the air. You've been waiting for this, and now it's time to experience it. You could win a trip to the FIFA World Cup plus other amazing prizes when you spend a minimum of 50,000 naira monthly or $1,000 with your Visa card in at least 5 transactions. Get ready. Football lives here wherever you are. T&Cs apply. Visit visa.com.ng for more. Visa, sponsor of the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. Listen closely. It's the sound of time, the sound of business. From the North Pole to the South Pole, time constantly changes, and so does business.
Being an entrepreneur, you've got to be open to the world.
For a daily and quick analysis on business headlines, tune in to Business Express on Smooth 98.1 as we track the big stories and walk you through the maze of business policies, how they contribute to the economy and affect your day-to-day financial affairs.
And I think that really did shape how I would see the world.
Time is business. Business Express on Smooth 98.1 every weekday morning from 6:30.
Hi, my name is Ego, in your ear, and you're tuned into the smoothest style on Lagos Radio for the best of everything music. Smooth 98.1.
Breakfast in Bed is the name of the show, and right now it's Soul Food. It runs from 8 till 8:30. We talk about your health and wellness. My name is Oluwaseun, and my guest is Udeme Isemin. She is a clinical nutritionist and registered dietitian. The topic: lactose intolerance. She has defined what lactose intolerance is. If you have missed that definition, maybe you hang around and you'll get more insight into what we are talking about. And you can also stream live, share it with somebody, youtube.com/smooth981 FM Lagos. Now, that said, I was trying to search for some data because I have talked to people who have lactose intolerance. I do not know the prevalence or the numbers here in Nigeria, but we have data in the United States. And one intriguing one is that, first off, according to the data, they said it is estimated that over 1/3 of Americans have lactose intolerance. But beyond that, they said the people who have lactose intolerance are more likely to be Asian Americans, African Americans.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Why?
Why Africans?
Blacks.
Why us?
Like Blacks just have that affinity for a number of sicknesses or conditions. The same way African Americans are more likely to be hypertensive too.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. But is there any reason why you think we have more of them being lactose intolerant? Not just African Americans, though. We have Mexican Americans, we have Native Americans, and Asian Americans. But here in Nigeria, since that's where we are, can you estimate from your interaction with your patients, people, can you estimate the data?
It's becoming more by the day. Before when we're growing up, it used to be like it was something that we rarely used to hear. But I have like about almost 5, 6 very close friends. Even recently, we went for the conference during tea break, and they were like, "I'm not having that." I'm like, "Why?" "I'm lactose intolerant." This one is, what's going on? It used to be something we rarely used to hear growing up. Everybody now seems to be. So I can't, we don't really have a solid data on that in Nigeria, but I can say that maybe 1 in 10 children are lactose intolerant. But okay, I think let me go into the the different classifications of tolerance that we have, and maybe what could trigger or could not trigger it. So we have different types of it. We have the primary, we have the secondary. The primary one is the one that because the body is like insulin, over time, the production of lactase begins to reduce. It declines. But the number one cause is that most of the times it's usually genetic. That's like a general major cause. It's genetic. Maybe it has to do with genes mutation, maybe hereditary from your parents or from your grandparents. That's one of the major things I've found out. But beyond that, another mistake I've noticed that mothers make is that sometimes when a child is maybe from breast milk, if a child is begin to show symptoms of lactose intolerance, maybe by not wanting to take breast milk, you quickly conclude that this child is no more milk and for life. So I think for the lactose intolerant, there's no one size fits all for everyone. You just keep reintroducing. So give your child, let's say 0 to 6 months, 6 months. So try and reintroduce, and it can even be different brands. Maybe a child doesn't really like a particular brand. You can introduce other brands. It's after you have introduced for a period of time into adolescence, you can now say, okay, really, this child is lactose intolerant. So the primary one is that lactase production begins to reduce over time in the body. It just happens. You find out somebody when the person was young, used to take lots of milk, loves to take milk, and then when they're already 12, they're entering into adolescence and then gradually into young adulthood, they can't take again. So that can be one. Another one can be due to infection or wound. Maybe there's some issues, maybe a particular ailment that had to, maybe infection, sepsis that happened to a child, and they didn't know on time and it stayed in the system for a long period of time. That can also cause lactose intolerance. Then, like I said earlier, we also have the developmental type of lactose intolerance, which happens mostly in premature children. But once the child becomes fully matured from 2 years and above, then the child most likely can begin to take milk again. But lately, people have been asking, if I take too much of milk, does it mean that eventually I'll become lactose intolerant? Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Yes.
Because I am a lover of milk. If there is anything like milkophilic, I am milkophilic. Although I noticed though that over the years my love for it increased and decreased rather, and that is in terms of the quantity I take. I used to on a normal day, I could spend 3 days in finishing one packet of milk. When I say one packet, I mean that refill pack. Yes,
Wow.
I'm that kind of person. I am that kind of person.
Yes. So recently, study shows that overconsumption of dairy product, especially milk, can cause the lactose enzymes to begin to deplete over a period of time. So why I said so is that I've also had friends who said to me that, man, I used to like milk when I was in university. I take milk like every day. Milk, my tea, come back milk in cornflakes, come back milk in gari, come back milk in, there's milk in everything. And then now they are lactose intolerant. So yes, overconsumption of dairy products, because the idea is these things are supposed to be taken in moderation. So when you now overtake it, you are actually overworking the lactase enzyme that your body has. And after a period of time, it begins to deplete. So
define moderation, because this one it pertains to me. It is very close to home. Define moderation.
Okay. In 250 ml, which is 1 cup of milk, we have 12 grams of lactase. And ideally, somebody who is even lactose intolerant can have a glass of milk daily and they'll be fine. Yes. So when I mean moderation means you should try not to have more than 1 to 2 glasses of milk daily. Because even though you love to take milk, if you love to, you can begin to alternate with other sources of milk, dairy products like yogurt. Why am I saying so? So yogurt is subjected to fermentation by introduction of live bacteria. So what that does is that the period of fermentation, the lactose is being broken down into lactic acid. So when you are consuming it into your body, it now has little or no lactose in it. So there's less work for the body to break down the lactose. And then beyond it just having less work, you're also introducing healthy bacteria for your gut and for your immune system. So that's why you see that you should have in moderation.
I find it really funny because all our lives we've been made to believe that bacteria are terrible. And so when you now say healthy bacteria, it is funny. On YouTube, Kayode Bakari says, I'm lactose intolerant too. And yes, I also have coconut head. I won't stop drinking milk. And one of the reasons I asked you about that data in your years of practice on the people who are lactose intolerant is because when I started hearing of lactose intolerance, it sounded like a buzzword. It sounded like something that people just wanted to make themselves feel cool with.
Yeah.
Oh, lactose intolerant. Oh, I am lactose
intolerant.
Until I realized that it is a really big deal. So let's talk about the symptoms. What are the symptoms of lactose intolerance?
Okay, one of the major symptoms of lactose intolerance is bloating. Every time you take milk, between 30 minutes to 2 hours of consuming milk, sometimes dairy products, you find out that you are feeling bloated. Bloated means you're feeling full and you can't really place that you've not eaten anything. It's like indigestion.
This is not the time for network to do this, please. Please, we are in the middle of something. Are you back? You're muted.
Okay, yes, I am. All right, I think it was the network.
Yes.
So number one signs and symptoms is bloating. You feel bloated, you always feel full. So you after a while, and why that happens is like what happens in beans. So because the body does not have the enzymes to break it down, it just sends it straight to the large intestine, and the bacteria there absorbs the water and turns it into hard stool. So you struggle to poo or you just start farting. Secondly is stomach cramps. And when someone has milk and is around you and they have lactose intolerance, better run away, because the way they will fart around you, and the fart will be smelling. So bloating, you find farting is also one of the symptoms. Then you have stomach cramp. Some people have to have diarrhea. Some they feel nauseated, but that's really rare. But most importantly, you have diarrhea. We have stomach cramps. We have bloating. Yeah, I think those are the major signs that people show when they are lactose intolerant.
So what's the hope? Now, you mentioned that a person who's lactose intolerant can still take a cup of milk.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
is it animal milk or plant milk, or what kind of milk can they take?
Okay. This lactose intolerance is basically for milk from 3 sources: cow, sheep, and goats. So that's animal sources of milk. So if most times people have reactions to milk that is sourced from goats, sourced from cow, and sourced from sheep. So what I mean the animal protein, that's the animal. So ideally, science has shown that you can still tolerate or accommodate 250 mils of milk. But if peradventure, because it varies, there's no one size fits all. Some people don't have the tendency to tolerate it at all. Like even if it's 1 spoon, they can't even take. So that's why it's important to know your system, and it's important to know your body. And there are some people that if they take a glass or a cup that's 250 mils, they can still go on fine. Why they're having intolerance symptoms is because they are drinking like 2 cups with their cereal. Another thing that can also help is that when you take your milk in other foods, like for instance for your pap, I encourage people to take milk with their pap, because pap is already fermented. So it will also help to reduce the effect of the lactose in your system. Have it with your cereals. That's a very good option. But if you don't even take at all, your body doesn't even take at all, you can switch to plant-based milk. We have rice milk, we have oat milk. I know this is easier said than done. I see your face reaction. Have
you tasted plant milk? It tastes like disappointment.
But some people like almond. Okay, so I think because one of the things about dairy milk and other milk is that they come with nutrients and vitamins, which plant sources may not give to you, except they are fortified during the course of production. So the only milk that is even still close to what you can get in dairy milk is your soy milk. Soybean or anything from the soy family are the only ones that have complete protein, like the milk. So if you can go for soy milk, that would be very, very interesting. I like the way you're winking your eye.
Soy milk is the worst of them all. I once tried a soy drink and I had to put about two teaspoons of sugar. I know.
Sugar inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can there's a way we can do maybe the incorporate dates into it. Just try and sweeten it in your own way. Maybe put banana or something that will just make it have a nice flavor or taste for you. You can even go ahead and add strawberry. The thing is that we have been conditioned to make soy milk plain. It doesn't have to be plain. You can incorporate different flavors into it: strawberry, banana, dates, just to ensure that, I think, because that's the only milk I know from research that is close to milk. So you don't lose out on the nutrients that milk has, because milk has one major nutrient that is relevant for all ages of life, from childhood.
Yes, we need to quickly go on this break, and when we come back, we are going to tell the reason why it is important for you to consume milk from other sources and not just totally scrap out milk. You're listening to Soul Food here on Smooth 98.1.
Funky Fly.
So we have about 5 minutes and we wrap up.
Excitement is in the air. You've been waiting for this, and now it's time to experience it. You could win a trip to the FIFA World Cup plus other amazing.
Have you considered teaching?
Spend a minimum of 50,000 naira monthly.
Have I what?
Considered teaching or lecturing?
No, I didn't. I thought it was cancelled till October 8th. Yeah, because she showed the woman in charge wasn't feeling very okay. She's a Cameroonian, and all these those people safe. So she's not been feeling okay, and then she was even contemplating we do virtual so that we can accommodate more people.
Okay, we're coming back.
Okay.
Sounds smooth like milk. Ha! Lactose intolerance is the topic of conversation here on Smooth 98.1. The show is soul food and it's all about your health and wellness from 8 till 8:30 every Saturday morning. My name is Oluwaseun and my guest this morning is a clinical nutritionist and dietitian. Her name is Udeme Isemin. You can go to YouTube to see what she looks like. youtube.com/smooth 91 FM Lagos. Again, youtube.com/smooth 91 FM Lagos. I can only take one call over one message because we are out of time. And we need to quickly tell you the reasons why you need to take milk. What exactly are the benefits of milk?
All right, so milk contains protein. That's the most important part. Milk is very rich in protein and is required. Your body needs it from zero to adulthood. Your body is one of the major micronutrients that your body needs. And then secondly, calcium. Calcium is the most abundant nutrient in the body. Let me say that again. Calcium is the most abundant nutrient in the body. So your body cannot live without calcium. So it's important that one of the richest sources of calcium is milk and milk products. So you have to find every way. If you're lactose intolerant, ensure that you take from other sources, like I mentioned earlier, soy milk and big. And then let me talk about other non-dairy products that can give you calcium. You can start with doing okra. Yes, okra is really rich in calcium. Yeah, I like that your face. So I encourage mothers, especially mothers whose children are intolerant. So there are two kinds of soup I want you to be giving your child. Number one is begiri, because begiri is from beans and it's rich in protein. Then secondly, okra. Yes, I like that look again. Secondly, okra. So give your children okra because they are rich in calcium. And also, of course, your green vegetables are also rich in calcium. Your spinach, your dark green vegetables. And if you know you have a child who is lactose intolerant, please try and ensure that they have yogurt regularly, every day, if it's possible. Why am I saying so? Because yogurt is, in fact, the protein in yogurt is even more than the protein in milk. Yeah. Because of the yes, exactly. I just found out that. So have them take yogurt regularly. If you can, if they have some reactions with whey and casein, you can do the Greek yogurt. But just ensure that your children are taking anything in the dairy family every day, because they need it from zero to adulthood. If you don't have enough calcium when they are young, when they get older, they won't be able to sustain, their bone health, which will bring them down to
And that
osteoporosis and the
leads to
likes.
osteoporosis, I suppose.
Yeah, so soya beans, almond, then fish. Yes, another non-dairy product is fish. And then their bone. Yeah, so what I advise mothers in the clinic to do is that get these dried fish that are bony, blend them into powder form. So every time you're making food for your children, you include a boned, grinded or blended boned fish into their meals. And I have them eat beans. Just eat a whole, adequate diet. And then you find out that your child, yogurt is most importantly. And if you can make cheese, then we have this wara here in Nigeria, local. The thing about wara is that it's local cheese. It's called local cheese. And it's also very good for people who are lactose intolerant. But you have to prepare them by yourself. Learn how to prepare them by yourself and then give your children to eat also. Yeah, I think
before what she's supposed to fortify you gives you food
yeah.
poisoning. So
And then also, if you don't have enough milk, sorry to cut you, if you don't have enough milk, your body won't have vitamin B2 and vitamin B12 that can boost your immunity, that can use it to form red blood cells that are good for your immune system. So you see that milk is very, very important. And you can only get vitamin B12 from animal sources. So if you know that your child is not really tolerating milk enough, ensure they have egg every day, ensure they have fish every day, ensure they have meat, let them have other rich sources of protein if they cannot eat milk. Yeah.
And for vegetarians, it means they will take soy milk.
Yeah, soy milk, tofu. Yeah, they can even do tofu. Yeah.
Okay, I'll take these questions quickly. I have this one on YouTube from Adebayo saying, what is your opinion on lactose-free milk? Is it marketing/branding gimmick or effective? And he further says, I have also seen some additives they sell as well for milk. What is your perspective?
Okay, so there's a supplement called lactase. So what they do for lactose-free milk, the thing is that you just have to find out if it's from a trusted brand. What they do is that they introduce during in the course of production, they introduce the lactase enzyme. So it already does the breaking down for you. So that's what makes it lactose free. Yes, there are some mix in the market now that are lactose free, but just ensure that I can't see any brand for now because it's just new. I cannot verify what they are doing yet until I've tested with people who are lactose free. But they introduce a lactase enzyme in the course of production that eliminates the milk sugar. So that there are some in the market like that now. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And then on WhatsApp, Victor says, please, what is the difference between lactose intolerance and lactose sensitivity? And how can you deal with lactose sensitivity naturally?
Lactose intolerance and lactose sensitivity. Are you sure that's not milk allergy?
Maybe you would need to clarify.
I think because there's nothing like lactose sensitivity. I've not come across a word like that. I know of lactose intolerance and milk allergy. So maybe it could be milk allergy. Yeah.
Okay, if you want to do that, maybe you need to send it in the next 30 seconds because we're wrapping up the show, Victor. So if you want to clarify if it is milk allergy, you mean, or lactose intolerance, you need to quickly do that. And if it is milk allergy, I think she has explained that milk allergy it gives external reactions and it has to do with your immune system. And then you have lactose intolerance, which is internal. And Emmanuel Ogunwale on YouTube says, are adults meant to take milk?
Yes, you're supposed to take milk all through the circles of life. Yeah. The only thing is that when you come into adulthood, you are advised to take skim milk, which is not full fat or full cream. You're advised to take skim milk. But if you are within your ideal body weight, you don't really have to do skim milk. You can eat your normal moderate fat milk, and enjoy yourself. Yeah, but all walks of life, you are supposed, because it contains protein and it contains calcium and vitamin D, which your body needs all through life. So yes, you're supposed to take milk all through life. Yeah.
Final word?
I would say don't give up, and because your child had some reactions when they were babies or because I've seen that mothers do that a lot. Once maybe you have one trial, two trial in the hospital, you're like, oh mommy, lactose intolerant, and then you just give up. No, sometimes it could just be milk allergy that will require introduction from time to time. And then if you try a particular brand, it doesn't work for your child, you can try another brand. There could be something your child is reacting to in that brand. So you could have tried a couple of options before you totally say, okay, no, my child is lactose intolerant. And then allow them come into adolescence also before you conclude that somebody is lactose intolerant. So I think that's my final word.
Thank you, and thank you for being our dear teacher, breaking it into assimilable bits for us. And we are not intolerant to it because it is really, we've taken it in, we've assimilated it. And we hope that the people who have coconut head, who are intolerant, will have new information to work with, somebody like Kayode Bakari. Well, thank you so much to everyone who sent in their messages and have been a part of it. You can also share it with somebody because like we mentioned earlier, it seems that the number is growing for people who are lactose intolerant. So please share this information with them because knowledge is indeed power and you need information to get better. And also, okay, let me just take this last one from Oluwaseun and who says that I heard milk is not too good for adults due to excess calcium buildup in the kidney.
No, it's that's if somebody has kidney stones. Maybe they have that maybe they have calcium oxalates or something, but calcium is needed. You can't overemphasize that. No, I feel like it's a myth. Like I said earlier, if you have these things in moderation, maybe if you have an ailment, you may be asked to stop, reduce for a period of time, but not total elimination, except your body is reacting to something. But no, it's not advisable for you to stop taking the milk. You can only switch from full cream to skimmed, or better still, you have yogurt. Like I said, yogurt is even about a better option because you even have the good bacteria in it. You have protein, and then it's yummy. So just enjoy it. Have variety of dairy products. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I am a fan of milk. I'm a fan of yogurt, but you have told me to take it easy on my milk consumption and take more of yogurt. So, dear dietitian, I am going to adhere to the instruction. You can find Udeme on Instagram at the Food Doctor, I suppose.
Yeah, at Meet the Food Doctor.
Oh, at Meets the Food Doctor. That is fully typed out. So search for her there. She gives really good information. Sometimes she dances and she gives you the information. So go search for her and ask any question you'd like to ask her, whatever it is that you like to have with her, and she'll be willing to take you because she's so good with what she does. All right, so we continue with I want to say strictly so with breakfast in bed, because in some minutes time the kids will come into the studio and we'll have a great time on Curious Minds. This is Smooth 98.1. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I hope I was able to explain one or two things.
I'll actually appreciate break it down into bits, and I gotta go now.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.